Full Moon by Jim Butcher is urban fantasy that bites back. Now, this book it's sharp, it's brutal, it's funny as hell. You get werewolves, and that's plural. There's magic that actually feels dangerous. The main character, the dude is one bad day away from snapping, but somehow he still manages to make the right call. Okay, but he struggles with it, and I love that. There's nothing like a hero in a book who isn't all sunshine and butterflies, little puffy clouds, let me walk little old ladies across the street. No, this guy, Harry Dresden, he struggles with whether to stay on the straight and narrow or whether to go down the darker path, and I dig that. So the second part of this book, it's all action. But it really works for me, and it isn't all chaos. And the way Butcher inserts these perfectly timed little lulls in the story, he lets it breathe before he slams the gas pedal again and gets it going. And that's not an accident. That's structure, and it works like a charm. So Jim Butcher is constantly winking at the real world, and he's shoving us deeper into the fiction that's raw. It's unpredictable. It's self-aware. His characters speak in like really clipped or tactical dialogue. So like every word that you read feels earned. Um, and even the mystery is handled with guts. You almost don't know where he's going with the story. You almost don't know who the bad guy is. You kind of want to point the finger at everybody, and he's not just trying to trick the reader with unnecessary twists. He dares to be really obvious, and he pulls it off. What really makes this book stand out, is Harry Dresden, the main character himself. This is a fantasy guy who thinks and who solves problems like a detective. He's not a demigod. He's flawed. He's self-absorbed. He's kind of dangerously human. He puts the pieces of the puzzles together in real time with stakes that feel earned, and like reading him go through the process and watching him outwit supernatural beings with nothing but his smarts, the magic that he has at his disposal, and just like balls. It's better than any like chosen one nonsense fantasy that we usually get. And then there's stuff like this. So Harry summons a demon, Sean Zagoroth, also known as Chauncey, who's flinging himself around this summoning circle like he's auditioning for a mosh pit in a metal concert. And he asked Chauncey, he's like, "Are you satisfied?" And so Chauncey stops in the middle of his flailing, and he replies to Harry in a perfect Oxford accent, "Quite. You understand, I must observe the formalities." I was cracking up because even the demons have rules and manners that they have to observe. And there's some absurdity in the book that it's just perfect. In another scene, he does something really, really stupid, and Harry breaks the fourth wall, and he tells the reader, "Don't look at me like that." And so there are certain things in the book that are just hilarious. And so if it wasn't for my friend Biblio Nerd, so you better go check out her account. So I'm going to put her link in my description. If it wasn't for her saying that or recommending that we should read all of Jim Butcher's work before the end of the year, because he's coming out with a new book in January, I wouldn't have even considered reading these. And so now we're 2 books in, and I'm completely shocked that these Dresden File books haven't broken out and really gotten a lot more popularity the way a lot of these lesser works have. So Jim Butcher, he writes with more humor and more grit and more imagination than most authors working in or out of this genre do. And so if I had to recommend him to anybody, I couldn't recommend him more. So there you go. I recommend Jim Butcher. I recommend these Dresden Files, and you need to go follow Biblio Nerd, and maybe I'll rant some more about some more books.